Welcome to this episode of Destination Dare. Every community in the Outer Banks has a story to tell, and this show brings that information to life. From Dare County history to current events, from government services to local profiles, we keep you entertained, informed, and up to date.
The Duck Fire Department walks us through a weekly training drill.
Hi, my name is Donna Black, and I'm the Fire Chief of Duck Fire Department. Duck Fire Department is a combination department. What that means is we have career firefighters and volunteer firefighters serving, training, and responding side by side. We've instilled in Duck Fire that every week we are going to do Drill of the Week. One time a week, we are going to make sure we're all on the same page with some skill. Your expectation and our expectation as your fire department is to put water on the fire.
The crews show up at 7:30 and they go through a shift change, anything that's broken or needs attention, any calls of relevance or anything important going on around the town or for the fire department. Once the shift changeover is complete, we'll go through our equipment each day. We'll go through the apparatus, check our air packs, check our hand tools, and make sure that the apparatus is ready to respond at a moment's notice. This week, our drill of the week was a basic engine company arrival drill. So what we're trying to focus on here is any structural fire, any alarm, the steps are going to be the exact same. So we talk about an engine company's arrival, we're giving the driver operator the opportunity to go through the basic steps of pump operation just as if it was a fire. Those steps are the same regardless of the size of the fire. We're giving the company officer the opportunity to go through a size-up process and the communication piece with their crew so that everybody's very aware of what their duties are going to be when they arrive on scene. Together as a unit, the crew is going to put on all their appropriate personal protective equipment. They'll each have their individual riding assignments on the apparatus. They'll board the apparatus together, and once everyone's seatbelted and ready to respond, the engine will respond from the bay just as if they were being dispatched to an actual working incident. Once the crew arrives on scene, the company officer will give a size up over the radio and will start making decisions as to what their next actions will be. Today they'll be tasked with forcing a door and also stretching a hose line for a fire attack. Our driver operator is charging that line once it's called and ensuring that we have adequate pressure on the hose line. We have a multitude of hose lines, so the driver has to know specific pressures for each hose line in their application. Once the drill is complete, we always do a post brief. So the crew all comes together, we'll huddle up, we'll talk about what went right and what went wrong, and there's always areas that we can improve on. So this is an opportunity for everyone on the crew, from the newest member, the company officer, to have input and how we can be better moving forward from today. Once the drill is complete and the post brief is done, crews have to clean up again, just like we started our day. The apparatus has to be ready to respond. So we've got to repack the hose lines, fill the air tanks, and also fill the water tank on the apparatus so we can be ready to go on the next incident. We take our basic skills here very seriously. We feel like that's the foundation of any operation, large or small. The thing that we do here every day is we train. So once we complete the drill, we clean up, we're right back at it again tomorrow.
Volunteer firefighters are crucial to the American emergency response. We can't do it without you. We have career firefighters here, but we also need volunteers. If you think you have the time, ability, and willingness to train hard, come see us. Thanks for your interest in Duck Fire, and thanks for watching.
The town of Southern Shores hosts its annual Flat Top Home Tour.
My husband, Steve Gudis, actually had the original idea to have a tour of flat tops in order to help people become more aware of the need to preserve them, because there were, I believe, more than 300 of these structures at one time. They were the quintessential structure in Southern Shores, and so now there are only 25. So We started the tours back in 2013 to try to bring awareness to the fact that the flat top homes are being destroyed at a pretty high rate, especially those in the ocean front. And there's a lot of factors that contribute to that. So that's why we did it. Our house is one of 3 historic landmarks here in Southern Shores.
I awarded a plaque to, the first plaque to be awarded of 3 for people who were the first ones to be accepted into the program. Real honor and a privilege for me to be able to participate in this, because the folks that put this together and made it happen did a terrific job. It's a real asset to our town to save some of these structures that would otherwise not be here. I think it's also an opportunity to come and visit and see what they really look like and what they really are, not just driving by them.
Sea Spray has owned me since 1992. I absolutely adore the Outer Banks and Flat Tops.
But through the years, it's had different renditions of blues.
Since we've been here, we're in the original Frank Stick compound. There were 13 houses when I purchased this house, and now there are 2. The thing I like best about it, actually, is the workmanship of the flat tops, the wood inside, and the giant live oaks in the backyard. We have a number of things we've incorporated in the house from Frank Stick Studio. We have redone the kitchen and made cabinets out of the doors and the wood in his house, and in the front porch we have half walls of the Frank Stick tongue and groove juniper.
The proceeds of the tours go to the Outer Banks Community Foundation, which is a fantastic philanthropic organization that several years ago was bequeathed a flat top, and they have made that their home. And their office is in a historic flat top that was designed by Frank Stick.
I'm Dan Martier. My wife and I, Laura Martier, live in this house. We've been renting this house for 5 years. The owner of the house, Tricia, really sweet woman who lives across the way here, bought this house to preserve it. We really love living in this house. It just feels good. We used to come to visit in this house, and back in the late 80s, this house was for sale. We actually thought about buying it, so we keep being drawn back to this house for some reason. Here we are.
We are very interested in the flat top houses. I've always wanted to see the insides. It's fabulous. Way back in the 50s these were built. That seems like ancient history, of course. The older we get, the less so ancient it is, but they have done so much with just a small amount of space. They're so cozy.
We were really excited when the town started looking into having a historic landmark preservation program. So we're really thrilled about that, because we do think it's important that the town preserve its history.
The town of Kitty Hawk has partnered with the Carolina Panthers to stabilize the sand dunes.
I'm Donnie King with Better Beaches OBX and Ocean Boulevard Restaurant. We're doing a project today with the Carolina Panthers. It's sponsored by the Carolina Panthers. They bought all the product and the materials necessary to put these sea oats in the ground. This is part of their Keep Pounding Day initiative.
So I'm Kelly Balance. I am an entertainment coordinator with the Carolina Panthers. So a couple of our full-time staff members are out here in Kitty Hawk today, and we are planting sea oats to help replenish the sand dunes. Today is our Keep Pounding Day, representing the late Sam Mills 5-1. So today, May 1st, is our inaugural Keep Pounding Day. So members of the Carolina Panthers will be across both states, within 25 cities, doing service projects along the lines of beautification, literacy, hunger relief, and Place 60. So we're at the beach today, and we're working on beautifying and preserving these sand dunes.
We got this opportunity by speaking with the town of Kitty Hawk, and they were excited to help rebuild these dunes here. So we set up 10 teams of 4 people, each responsible for a 1/10 of this mile. And what the 4 people do is we line up an area to be planted and designate our spacing, and then one person drills a hole using a bulb auger, the next person adds a tiny bit of slow release fertilizer, the next person plants the root ball of the sea oat, and then the next person makes sure that it has some moisture and that it's covered up. And then they just keep on rolling down the line. We had a little over 50 people show up today. They're all working right now in separate teams. These people were gathered on social media, through friends networks, anywhere we can. We have a roster of over 200 people now. So these amazing people dedicate their time during lunchtime, usually on most days, to come out and help with sea oats, marking off areas, beach grass. We also had representatives from the town of Duck, which has a thriving dune maintenance program as well as a solid volunteer component, show up, and they're handling 2 sections themselves.
The town of Kitty Hawk Public Works is also helping with the planting of the sea oats today for the Carolina Panthers Keep Pounding Day. We're ferrying the grass around, and some of our guys are actually planting. The more grass and sea oats we have on our dunes really helps stabilize the beach, which in turn could help delay the cost of re-nourishing in a few years when we have to do that. Anything we can do to help maintain the beach, we're going to do.
This is important because, especially in the area you're looking at right now, there's been a lot of erosion in the past. What's going to help that is a more gradual beach profile, which is encouraged by plantings and the protective dune in large storm scenarios.
Help Kill Devil Hills kick butt with their cigarette butt litter prevention campaign.
Did you know that cigarette butts are one of the most prevalent forms of litter in the world? I'm Sue Kelly, chair of the Kill Devil Hills Community Appearance Commission. Kill Devil Hills is working to address this litter through its Help KDH Kick Butt initiative.
Did you know that there are over 165 chemicals in a cigarette filter, and many of those are toxic? Help us to help our environment.
Cigarette filters are not biodegradable. They're made of plastic and can take up to 25 years to decompose. It's also littering, which is punishable by a fine.
Kill Devil Hills established a community appearance commission to enhance our community. The Help KDH Kick Butt campaign is one of its initiatives.
Along with the unsightly littering associated with improper disposal of smoking materials, here in Kill Devil Hills we have experienced brush, mulch, deck fires. We would like to ask that everyone properly dispose of these smoking materials in order to better protect our community.
Kill Devil Hills takes pride in its natural beauty. Citizens, businesses, and visitors alike can all pitch in keeping our town clean.
The town has partnered with organizations like the Surfrider Foundation to help keep our beaches and our community clean. We encourage you to do your part and help KDH kick butts.
Local groups work with the Beach Nourishment Project to help save sea turtles.
Hi, my name is John Cece. I'm the president of NEST, the Network for Endangered Sea Turtles, based here in the Outer Banks. Here in the northern Outer Banks, we'll normally see our first nest. I think the earliest we've seen is about May 15th, and we've seen nests laid as late as September 15th. From the 1st of May through usually Labor Day, beginning in September, NEST volunteers, first thing at sunrise, we're out on the beach with ATVs, monitoring the beach from the Nags Head National Park Service property in South Nags Head, all the way up through north up to the Virginia line. We've got 5 separate ATV routes, and we're looking for the very distinctive markings, the crawls, that the female turtles leave when they drag themselves up onto the beach and lay their nests. If a nest is discovered, the North Carolina Wildlife Resource Commission has trained nest volunteers to do a number of different things. If a nest is found, they'll respond, evaluate. We have to take a number of scientific measurements to document the nest. And with the renourishment project, because the nest would be destroyed otherwise, we'll have to relocate them.
In May 2019, Great Lakes Dredge and Dock Company is contracted to the town of Nags Head to perform beach renourishment works along the city limits. Crews will be working 24 hours a day for the next 90 to 120 days to complete the renourishment project along the city limits. Crews will be working directly with NEST every day to ensure that any turtles that come up onto the beach, nests are properly identified, relocated, and protected as needed. Prior to commencement of the dredging operations, we're going to perform 48 hours of non-relocation turtle trawling. That'll involve a trawler offshore working to encourage the turtles to leave the dig area prior to the dredge arriving. Once we begin nourishment, we'll be working with NEST, who has been contracted by the town of Nags Head to monitor the turtles on the beach. There'll be nighttime monitors on the beach as well to ensure that no nesting activity happens within the work area. We'll also have on board each dredge individuals who are certified by National Marine Fisheries for monitoring of endangered species such as turtles.
All sea turtles are threatened or endangered according to the Endangered Species Act. So when our ATV riders discover what we call a turtle crawl, which is the mark that the female leaves on the beach as she drags herself up to lay her eggs, she'll call in our nesting response team. Those folks will come and they will document the crawl, and then also check to see if actually a nest was laid, because sometimes a female will crawl up on the beach and for whatever reason get spooked, and we'll call that a false crawl. So that does happen also. So our nesting response team will again document the crawl and then very carefully excavate the area to determine if in fact a nest was laid and eggs are present. And if that's a fact here in Nags Head, again we'll have to move that nest because otherwise it'd be destroyed during the beach nourishment.